Hey, it's your tutor Courtney Waterman, lover of anime, manga, and math. And this is another session of Tutor Me Senpai. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're jumping into a 7th grade topic, calculating tips. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment box below. If you have questions about your own homework you'd like to see on this channel, remember you can visit me on Facebook at Tutor Me Senpai and tell me all about it there. When you find this video helpful, remember to leave a like, hit the notification bell, smash the subscribe button, and share it with a friend. Well, without further ado, let's talk a little bit more about calculating tips. Now, when you're buying anything, there are usually about 3 buckets that come into play. The first bucket, we're going to say that is your pre-tax value of whatever you're buying. So this would be your sticker price, what you're seeing on whatever label, wherever you're shopping, that is your pre-tax value. The next bucket will be the actual sales tax you're going to have to pay on that pre-tax value. So depending on where you are, the sales tax percentage might vary a little bit. However, there's typically a sales tax associated with your overall purchase. In most cases, this would be enough. For example, you go to the store and you buy some candy. You have a pre-tax value and you will pay sales tax when you purchase it. However, this might not be the case if you were to go out to eat. When you go out to eat, there's another bucket that comes into play. And this would be the tip or the gratuity that's going to be associated with your bill. So once again, pre-tax and sales tax tend to be where you're going to run into more often, but this tip bucket is something you have to account for, especially if you're going out to a restaurant. So let's look at the example where Groot has gone to a restaurant and Zoro is Groot's waiter. Groot has 2 buckets of money. He's prepared to pay his pre-tax, and he has just enough for the sales tax that he knows he's going to have to pay at the end of the meal. However, Groot is not taking into account any tips to leave Zoro. So if Zoro does a really good job, at the end of the meal, Groot will be giving over his 2 buckets of money, his pre-tax and his sales tax. However, Zoro is going to be looking for his tip. And when Groot leaves, Zoro might be a little heartbroken that he didn't get a tip after doing such a great job. Let's look at another example. Let's say Groot has 2 buckets of money. Once again, he knows exactly what he wants to buy on the menu, and he knows its value. And he knows exactly how much he wants to give Zoro at the end of the meal. However, he does not think about the sales tax. So at the end of the meal, he gives Zoro his tip. Zoro is happy. And when Zoro gives him the bill, Groot only has enough for the pre-tax value. He's missing the sales tax. Now, he can't take the money back from Zoro. He doesn't have enough money to pay for his meal. Groot is in a bind here. This is why when you're going out, especially when you're going out, you want to make sure that you're covering all your bases. Your pre-tax value, your sales tax, and any possible tip you're going to have to leave a waiter or waitress. There are a lot of times in which the tip, or what they say the gratuity, is already factored in, so you might not even have the option of leaving without paying your tips. So how do we go about finding this tip or gratuity amount when trying to figure out our total cost? Well, remember we just said all 3 buckets together is what you're going to pay out of pocket, your total amount you're paying out of pocket. So your total cost is going to be your pre-tax value, so it's pre-tax value or pre-tax amount, plus your sales tax, depending on what state you are, this is going to vary, plus any tips or gratuity that you're wanting to pay before you leave your meal. So let's shorthand this a little bit. So total cost, we're just going to say that's TOT. Your total cost equals your P, your pre-tax value, plus your ST for sales tax, plus your tip. It's only 3 letters, so we'll just write it out. Your tip. So your total equals your pre-tax value plus your sales tax plus your tip. So this is going to be the formula that we're going to use when trying to figure out what we're going to have to pay. Now, once again, you might not always have to factor in this tip. For example, if you were to buy those jeans at the store, there wouldn't be a tip portion, but you can still use this formula and just put 0 for tip whenever a tip doesn't apply. This will be how you're going to find the cost of a particular item when factoring its sales tax and any potential tips. So our question for today says, Jada and Greg went to lunch at Bronco's restaurant. Their lunch cost $15.89. If they give the waitress a 15% tip, how much is the total owed? So the first thing we want to do is figure out what they're giving us and write out your formula that we're going to be using. So our formula, remember TOT equals P, the pre-tax value, plus ST, your sales tax, plus tips. And they're letting us know that the lunch cost $15.89. That's going to be our P, our pre-tax value. $15.89. Our tip is going to be 15%. So I'm going to say this is the tip rate because they're not letting us know what the tip actually is. We have to figure that out. But they give us the rate, which is 15%. Since they didn't mention anything about sales tax, we can assume that this is going to be a situation in which the sales tax is 0. If they wanted you to factor in sales tax, they would have to give you a percentage or at least the amount that you paid in sales tax, but we have nothing for this question. So we're going to say our sales tax is 0. Now we want to find the total. What is the total owed? Our total, after factoring in all of this, what is that value? So the first thing we want to do is find what your tip is, right? Your tip is going to be important, because we don't have the tip, we just have the tip rate. And in order to find the total, we need the actual tip that we paid. So we know the tip rate was 15%, but what is that 15% of? Well, that's going to be 50% of your meal. And our meal costs $15.89. So our tip is going to be our tip rate times our pre-tax value. If we know our tip rate and our pre-tax value, we can find our tip. So in this case, our tip rate was 15%. If we convert that to a decimal, that's 0.15. And this is going to be multiplied by our pre-tax value of $15.89. If we multiply all of this across, we get 2.3835. Understanding that tip is money, we don't have 4 decimal places when we're talking about money. So we're going to have to round this up using this place value here. So this is actually going to be $2.38. So we know our tip is going to be $2.38. Now we just plug everything into our formula and we figure out our total. So once again, total equals the pre-tax value, which is $15.89, plus sales tax. Because they didn't give us any rates or any values, we're going to assume 0, plus our tip, not our tip rate, but our actual tip of $2.38. When we add all of that together, what do we get? We get 18.27. So if this is how much we paid altogether, we paid $18.27. Which letter does that correspond with? A, B, C, or D? B. Good job. So our answer for today, this question, is going to be B. We're going to be owing $18.27, assuming sales tax is 0. So I hope you're able to follow in today's example. Remember, if you have any question whatsoever, you can always put them in the comment box below. I'd love to be able to help you as much as I possibly can. Remember, there are going to be at least your sales tax and your pre-tax, but the tip is a bucket that you don't want to ignore, especially if you're going out to a restaurant. If you have any questions about your own homework like see on this channel, remember you can visit me on Facebook at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. If you haven't done so already, remember to leave that like, hit the notification bell, smash the subscribe button, and share this video with a friend. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I really hope it's helped with your homework, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week. I'm Courtney, and this is another session of Tutor Me Sempai.